Going on in my Houston Texans family? Hope you all are having a blessed Tuesday. Hope you all enjoyed the bye week. If you're a real Houston Texans fan like me, you weren't enjoying it because the thought of this team was on your mind every single day. The thought of your team is on your mind 365 days of the year. Guys, like we mentioned on the Twin Toros podcast yesterday, the Houston Texans have a chance. It starts this Monday night, ESPN in Seattle, 9 o'clock kickoff here in Houston. The Texans have an opportunity to get their season back on track. And when they get this win, it will be the biggest of the season. It will silence any doubters about whether or not this Houston Texans team is for real, because I will give flowers to the Seattle Seahawks. They are a damn good football team from top to bottom. This is a must win. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. Guys, this episode is brought to you and powered by Sleeper. Think you know football, then try to turn your football knowledge into real money with the Sleeper app. The ultimate fantasy sports app that can turn game day into payday. Just download the Sleeper app and pick more or less on your favorite players. With more stats than any other daily fantasy app, just choose 2 or more of your favorite players from pregame or live. Pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code 713HOU, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I called this game a must-win. Now, realistically, the Houston Texans can still bounce back after a potential loss against the Seattle Seahawks. But in terms of what this could mean for the team, for the season, the perception of this Houston Texans team will be flipped around if they walk into Seattle and get a win on primetime football. Like I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, the Seattle Seahawks, they're legit. That defensive line, stunts everywhere. What's been a problem for the Houston Texans offensive line the past couple of years? Stunts. This is going to be a true test for the offensive line. This will tell us what type of steps forward or steps backwards they took after the bye week. The Houston Texans, guys, they've had 2 weeks to prepare for the Seattle Seahawks, and this is going to tell us a lot, man. I'm really excited for this game. I hate that it's on Monday night. But it's not just the Seattle Seahawks defense that makes them dangerous. Sam Darnold, guys, he's resurrected his career. It wasn't a one and done year like people thought was going to happen after he left Minnesota. He's a top 10 quarterback. Some will argue he's a top 5. Look at his numbers. They're there. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who we talked about potentially being a Houston Texan a couple years ago come draft time. One of the best wide receivers in the NFL just torched the Jacksonville Jaguars last week. They had no answer for him, which is why Derek Stingley, start getting ready. It's going to be a fun matchup. They got good tight ends. They got old man Cooper Kupp running routes. The Seattle Seahawks, guys, they're a legit football team. On top of that, Coach Mike McDonald, who was with Baltimore the last couple of years as their defensive coordinator, and we know his success against C.J. Stroud. He has those boys firing on all cylinders. So for the Houston Texans to go up there, get a win, get an ugly win, I don't care. It would mean a lot for this franchise, right? We've seen you beat the bad teams. We've seen you beat the hurt teams. What can you do against one of the best teams in the NFL? We've seen you go against 3 good teams already. And you were a fumble away against the Los Angeles Rams. You were a Baker Mayfield sack on 4th and 10 away from beating the Buccaneers. By the way, Baker Mayfield's playing like an MVP. Against Jacksonville, you were a Nico Collins fumble and a C.J. Stroud tip pass from beating the Jaguars. It's like the conversations we've had multiple times before about this team. They're 4-1, they're 5-1, 4-0. They could easily be 0-4, 1-5. We're having the conversation, but it's flipped around. We know how good this Houston Texans team could be. When we heard D'Amico Ryans say we're close, it was so frustrating because it was so true. We were close. We were plays away. If I could give you some people that need to step up on Monday Night Football, I think one of them, it's going to have to be your quarterback. It's going to have to be the man behind me, CJ Stroud. He's going to need to put the Superman patch on his chest. This game will tell us a lot about CJ Stroud. If he is ready and going to take the next step forward. Offensive player of the week last week against the Baltimore Ravens. Let's see how he is against one of the best defenses in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, their secondary is a little bit banged up, but it's that defensive line, guys, that's swarming. They only need to rush 4. They run so many stunts. I am super worried about this game. I am nervous. I love it. But CJ Stroud being able to weather the storm, being able to make plays, and at moments put this team on his back, I think that's what we need to see. I think that's what we might need to see against the Seattle Seahawks. And how big of a moment would this be for CJ? All the criticism he's got the last year and a half. People still don't think CJ Stroud is back. Going up there getting a win against Seattle, against that defense. You did something you didn't do last week, CJ. Scoring a touchdown against Baltimore, beating them. Now do what you haven't done before. Get a win against Mike McDaniel. I don't know when was the last time the Texans won in Seattle, by the way. But nonetheless, you need your star quarterback behind you to put the captain's patch on and carry this offense. I have a feeling it's going to be a long day for the offensive line. Let's have that conversation too. If this offensive line goes out there and let's say they do just enough to get you the win. They do just enough to give CJ as long as he needs. Let's say the offensive line does pretty good against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to be talking crazy. I'm going to be saying this unit is getting better week by week, and I cannot wait for the finished product towards the end of the year. This game is so important, guys. This win could just start something for this Houston Texans team. You started off 0-3, and now you won 3 straight in your last one against a 4-2 Seattle Seahawks team, one of the best defenses in the NFL. And you were in Seattle, and we know how crazy that stadium is. On the defensive side, I mentioned Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Jalen Petrie. They need to be ready because they got route runners in Seattle. They got speed in Seattle. Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson Jr., they need to get to the quarterback. They need to make life hell for Sam Darnold. He's rarely been touched the last 2 games. He's been pressured quite a bit, but not put on the ground. The Texans need to do that. Will Anderson Jr., start your Defensive Player of the Year campaign. Like, so much is on the writing, guys, on Monday Night Football. If Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson Jr., because both of them are amongst the league leaders in terms of pressure rate, it could easily start their Defensive Player of the Year campaign. Hell, if Derek Stingley shuts down Jackson Smith and Jigba, we're going to be feeling some type of way after. This is your biggest game of the season. This could potentially be your biggest win of the season. And the Seattle Seahawks, a victory here will look back and say, this is when they showed us that they turned a corner. This is a game, guys, normally the Houston Texans don't win, right? When we ask the Houston Texans to prove to us that they are, one of the good teams in the NFL, more often than not, they failed. I am so excited for this game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is this the biggest game of the year for the Houston Texans? Could this be the biggest win of the season for the Houston Texans? For more Houston Texans content, you guys know what to do. Feel free to follow me for more. Go Houston. Episode brought to you and powered by Sleeper. $20 entry, no deposit needed. Promo code 713HOU. You guys have a very blessed day.